Hi guys, in today's video we're going to be applying some multi-purpose compost onto the grass. Also going to be applying some fertilizer and some weed killer. Let's crack on. So why do we even do this? Why do we put compost on grass? Well, compost is actually just fertilizer in its basic sort of form, and it's got nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium in there. So it's actually good for the grass. It actually acts as a feed. But in addition to this, it actually helps to attract beneficial organisms like earthworms, microbes, things like that. So we're increasing the good stuff in the soil, which is good for the grass. So we're increasing the health. So we're feeding it and we're increasing the health. And compost is relatively inexpensive. Now you can use any type of compost, but I generally use multi-purpose compost. And the one I use is from a company which I'll leave a link to in the description. Basically all the information about this company is on my website. But it's great, it's fine and dry and crumbly, and it's easy to spread. So the reason we do it is just to improve the lawn. So as a result, you'll end up with a greener, happier, healthier, lusher lawn. Now because I'm putting a feed and weed on as well, I've just got to think in what order I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put fertilizer on first, then I'm going to do the compost dressing on top, and then we'll do the weed killer very last. It's my fertilizer. This is one I get from my supplier, but you can use any you like as long as it's appropriate for the time of year, whether it's spring, summer or autumn, winter. This is an autumn winter one from Agravista, but I also use A1 spring, summer, A1 autumn, winter on my own lawn. So all we do, we walk up and down with the hand spreader. I'm on setting number 3. I turn the handle and the fertilizer gets distributed out of here across the lawn. So what I'm doing here is I'm going along the edge because I'm trying to minimise how much fertiliser drops onto the paths. Not that it matters too much, but I will be using a blower later on in the video just to sort of blow anything that's on the paths back onto the lawn. So I've just gone up that right hand edge and now I'm going up and down in strips until I've covered the entirety of the lawn. You just go at a normal walking pace. Now I know it's hard to see the fertiliser on camera, but it's coming out, and when it's there in front of it you can see it going down inside the hopper, which is in the spreader, and you can also see it going onto the ground, and you can see how far it comes out on either side. So you can use the back of a normal rake, or this is a landscaper's rake, but you can use the back straight edge of a normal rake, which is that one, and you can use a stiff brush. They both work just as well, and all you do, you just brush it about, work it in. And we need to make sure it's not sat on top of the grass, smothering the grass like so. But when you work it backwards and forwards, it works in and down, so it's sat on top of the ground and not smothering those blades of grass. So you have to work it in. And with a brush, just the same. You just brush it backwards and forwards. And this is where you want it to be dry and crumbly. Now the final way is to use a lawn leveling lute. Some people have even used pallets because it's got a straight hard edge. It's just the same. You work it backwards and forwards. So there you go. Right, we'll crack on with this. Now before we get on to the whole lawn, you can, if you want, use a compost spreader. you don't want to do a pile, pour the compost into here. The beauty of this, push it along the lawn. Right, I'll carry on with the rest of this lawn and we'll have a chat a little bit later on. So I'm often asked, how much compost do we need for a lawn? Well, every compost varies because some compost has big pieces in and some are nice and fine and dry, and it depends what you're using to put the compost on the ground. But using this spreader, you can get around 7 to 10 square meters out of a bag. That's a typical size bag. I think I used about 5 bags on this lawn, so yeah, it's approximately 30-35 square meters, so it's about right at 7 square meters. But like I say, it's easier. And when you run a business, the aim is to get the job done as efficiently as possible, especially when you're doing these jobs day in, day out. Eventually it takes a toll on your body. So you have to make life as easy as possible. Every spring and every autumn we can do sort of between 10 and 20 lawn renovations. So make life easy. And so again, I'm just using the lawn levelling lute, and all I do, I just drag it along behind me, and what that does, it knocks it off the top of the grass and nestles it down in between the blades of grass. And here, I just wanted to show you again using the rake. So all I do at the end, I just have a quick walk over the lawn and look for any areas which may have been missed by the lawn levelling lute, and just give them a quick rub in. And it really is as simple as that. So you can carry this out once a month, once every 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. And like I say, you're providing nutrients for the lawn, so it's going to green up as a result, and it's going to increase the activity in the soil of the microbes and earthworms and things like that, which is a good thing for the soil. And in time, it will gradually improve soil. Clay soils, sandy soils, it'll improve the structure of sandy soil in time. Clay soils, it will eventually get that organic stuff in there, which then encourages the earthworms to come, and because the earthworms come, they start to aerate the lawn and to break it up. It's a long-term process, but it's all natural. It's all good. Right, I'm just going to get the weed killer on, and then we are done for this lawn. So just a few pointers here, just a few things. I'm being really careful when I'm going along the side of flowers, because as you're spraying, the spray has a spray width, and it's just over 1 meter wide when you're spraying, and you're holding it at around knee level approximately. So you have to be careful when you're spraying near flowers. You don't want any of the spray to go on the flowers, because it is going to kill them. And I'm using the sticks to create a sort of line that I go up and down in between the sticks. It's a guide to make sure I don't miss any areas and that I don't overlap too much, but we just equally make sure that we're covering all of the lawn. So that's it. Yeah, obviously it looks brown, doesn't it? But within a couple of weeks, usually, that's gone. You don't see it anymore because it breaks down and goes into the soil. So it's working its magic. So it's definitely worth doing, but obviously you've got to try and keep off the grass a little bit, because if it's slightly wet and pets and children are running on it, they're going to invariably take some of it off on the paws, on the feet, and onto your paths and things. But in general, it's definitely worth doing. It's fully organic, it's totally safe. The only thing I will say is that there's always the potential for weed seeds to creep in and produce some new weeds. But a lot of them aren't nowadays. They're very careful how they produce these composts. So try and get one that's been screened or even treated beforehand. Any questions, comments, please leave them down below. But thanks for watching. Hope you get used to doing this on your lawn and seeing some great results. Have an amazing day.